Food and Nutrition 1. Objective 1. Understand the relationship between food choices and health. We're discussing Objective 1.01. Remember influences on food choices. Your essential question today is, what are the internal and external influences on food choices? We're going to discuss the internal influences on food choices, your physiological influences, your psychological influence, your cultural influences, your situational influence. We're also going to move on into your external influences on food choices, such as your media, economic, environment, and technology. Troy was headed out of the door of the school when he saw a group of his friends. Hey, how about stopping for something to eat? I'm starving. Justin shook his head. I can't. I promised Dad I'd pick up a few things at the supermarket. Isabel said, Sorry, it's my turn to get the dinner ready. I like to, but I've got a pep club meeting, said Brian. We're going to plan our next spaghetti supper. I'll go with you, Troy said. We can talk about the weekend while we eat. So, on this particular afternoon, the activities of Troy and his friends all revolved around food. Why does food play such an important role in people's lives? We all hear or ask the question, what is there to eat around here? What are some of their favorite foods and snacks? When do you snack? How much do you spend on your snacks in one day, 1 week? Besides selecting snacks, what other decisions about food do you make? So, how do we use food? We use it for comfort, so it soothes you, makes you feel good. We use it for wellness, to affect our well being. We use it for family and social ties to bring us together. We use it for nutrition to maintain the functions of our bodies. We use it for enjoyment to satisfy our senses. We use it for entertainment to entertain us. We use it for adventure, for new experiences. Have you ever went to the movie theater and you just got popcorn just because? That's for entertainment. You ever tried sushi and didn't really want it, but you tried it anyways? That's adventure. Have you ever gone to a Thanksgiving dinner because you had to? That's for family and social ties. Do you just want your Takis or your favorite chips? That's just for enjoyment. Now you drank that Gatorade or that water because you was thirsty when you was playing your sport. That's for wellness. Nutrition. We have to eat every day for our bodies to keep moving. So, how do you use your food? What influences food choices? We're going to discuss internal influences. Some of the internal influences that affect our food choices are termed psychological or physiological influences. Physiological influences are the internal gender, calorie needs, nutrition needs, your wellness, and your activity levels. People eat because they are hungry, but what they eat may depend on their age or gender. It might also be influenced by their health. If someone is not feeling well, often they're not hungry. They may be in poor health because they don't have proper nutrition or have some kind of disease that affects their health, such as diabetes. Did you know that for your age, you need to have at least 60 minutes of physical activity? Yeah. So ask your parents if you go outside, walk around with your friends. Did you also know you need at least 1,800 calories for your age per day? Yeah, you do. You also need to fill your plate with at least half of fruits and vegetables on your plate. I know you don't like veggies, but you do need to have a plate that's very colorful with all colors. And you may need to drink plenty of water so you can flush out all those foods and keep the nutrients. Let's stop drinking all this soda and juice, people. Kool-Aid. Food does more than just fill up our stomachs. Food supplies the human body with chemicals called nutrients. The human body is a living organism that needs nutrients to carry on its functions. The book Food for Today says nutrition is the study of nutrients and how they are used by the body. The term nutrition can also be referred to the effects of your food choices on your health. If your food choices provide all the nutrients you need in the right amounts, you're practicing good nutrition. Good nutrition has many benefits. It can help you feel your best and look your best. So eat well and do your physical activity. Psychological influences. So you might be stressed or emotional, you just have a huge appetite. That's your psychological influences. The Food for Nutrition book says that psychological means having to do with the mind and your emotions. Psychological health is a part of wellness and is just as important as physical health. Though you may not realize it, food also helps you meet your psychological needs. These include the need for security and a sense of belonging, enjoyment, and self-esteem. Have you ever came home from school and you were just so stressed out with all the work that you got to do, and as soon as you get home, you either go run to the kitchen to find out what's to eat, or you don't eat at all and you just go to bed out of depression? You're stressed. That's a psychological influence. Or you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or somebody was bullying you at school, and you are eating with your emotions. You go through a whole bag of chips, not just little small individual chips, the family size chips, and you don't know you went through it. You sat down, you watched your favorite show, and you're just eating. You're eating out of emotions. You really are not hungry. It's just you're feeling some kind of way, and you want to get over that. And in order for you to get over that, you might choose food. That goes with saying you may not even have an appetite and you're just eating, or you may have an appetite. That's your psychological influences. Personal belief and taste. You like something, so you constantly eat that food, or you dislike something and you refuse to eat it. I gave you a form to take home to let me know what don't you like to eat in the food labs. Some of you guys put down shrimp, squishy things. A lot of you put down veggies. So you don't like to eat those things. But I also know that you like ice cream, so we do the smoothies and the milkshakes. You love chicken and you love beef, so I also include that in your food lab. So those are some personal tastes. But what about your personal beliefs? Our personal beliefs have to do with our ethnic groups, our culture groups. Here in the United States, we have plenty of different multicultural groups. The United States has always been a multicultural society. Today, it has become even more so than before as we mix different cultures. Many people see these cultural diversities or variety of cultures as a great strength. In a multicultural society, people are free to share and enjoy customs and many cultures. At the same time, it's important to respect other people's beliefs and practices, even though they may differ from your own. Religious beliefs often include dietary laws or rules about what food may be eaten. For example, Jews who follow a kosher diet do not eat meat or dairy products in the same meal. Muslims don't eat pork. During Lent season, fish is eaten. We all have traditions here in the United States. We practice them yearly, such as Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas. What are some other things we practice every year? Those are our customs and our culture here in the United States. Situational factors such as stages of your family life cycle, the family schedule, peer groups, financial resources, your knowledge and skills could be the reason why you eat what you eat. The situation in which your life affects how and what you eat. So, when I talk about stages of family life cycle, let's say, for instance, you're the older child of the family and you have always been able to just come to the table and eat. But now the dynamics have changed and your parents have off to work and they don't get home till late and you have a younger sibling who needs to eat. Now that you're old enough and you're a teenager, you can prepare meals for that child. That is the stages of family life cycle. Then you grow up out of being a teenager, you become a parent and you start choosing different foods for your child. Your family schedules, again, may be a reason why you eat the way you eat. In my household, I'm a very busy mother. When I get home, I usually bring food from a restaurant. My son is old enough now to fix his own food. So he can fix his own food, but he'd rather have the food from the restaurant. Your peer groups may be a reason why you eat the food that you eat. You might be out during lunch, you don't drive, you're in the car with somebody else, and you're going where they want to go. You might not have enough money. As a teenager, most of you are not working, and you only get the money that your parents give you for allowance or for Christmas or a birthday. And so your budget is different than an adult who has a full-time job. You may go to McDonald's and order off the dollar menu, whereas I would probably go sit down somewhere and order a full course meal with appetizers and dessert. Just depends on your family budget and where you go. The knowledge and skills. So as you were young, if people were cooking for you, you didn't have that much knowledge and skills to cook for yourself. But as you got older and you start to understand and you took classes like this, you start to understand how to cook for yourself. So the knowledge and skills could be a reason why you cook the foods that you cook. You may cook noodles because that's easy. You may make some tea because that's not that many steps in the recipe. Whereas someone else that has the knowledge and skills and who has taken culinary arts may know how to make chicken and waffles, homemade biscuits and gravy. Just depends on your situation. So let's review what we talked about in internal influences. Your internal influences include your nutrition, your wellness, your enjoyment, your family and social ties, your comfort, entertainment, and you might just do it out of entertainment or adventure. That is your internal influences of why you eat the food that you eat. We're going to move on to external influences. What influences food choices? We're going to talk about the external influences. Newspapers, magazines, television, and radio brings information to large audiences. Together, these channels of communication are referred to as media. Today, they are major influences in us making our food choices. Nutrition has become more popular in the magazines, the newspapers, the television shows, the internet. The media also reports on new products and new trends in foods. You might make food choices just to try the new foods or to be a part of the trend. Have you ever sat in front of television and be able to recite the whole commercial? Or have you ever looked at the commercial and it looks so good? I want that pizza from Papa John's. It just looks so good. But then you get it and it's greasy, or you see the Big Mac on the commercial or on a print ad or in a magazine. And then when you go to McDonald's, it's not just the same. The media can really influence us in our food choices. The media equates you with and reminds you of and informs you about the food products and nutrition issues. The quality of the information from the media ranges from excellent to totally worthless and then harmless. So you take it as face value. If you see it on a commercial, a carton, or print ad, or anywhere, if you just see some type of media about a food choice, you might want to make some wise decisions. Think about, okay, I know they prep this for this photographer. It may not be the same when I go to the store. Although food is becoming more expensive in the United States, there's enough food. But we also know that they are doing things to make enough food. There is not the case of, that's not the case in other countries. Other countries may not even have all the food that we have. We're able to fly things in. We're able to outsource. So we're able to get things that other countries may not have. We have all the technology to get the food that we want over here, and we have the money for it. Seafood is now more widely included in American diets, a fact that has resulted in a decrease in number of fish that are available close to shore. So if I'm living over in Wilmington, I'm able to get fish by just going out and fishing. Whereas we're here in Burlington or Greensboro or Charlotte, we're not going to be able to get fresh fish. Most certainly, well, in the mountains, they do have rivers and ponds and things of that sort, but we have that here too. But the fresh fish from the ocean is to live for. So yes, if we were to be living over on the East Coast on the ocean, we'll be able to get fresh fish. So that's just an example of what's available to us and where we are. When the demand for food increases, the cost generally rises as well. Your choice of food depends on a great deal of the resources that is around you again. Resources, I keep saying that, but what is it? They're objects and qualities that can help you reach a goal. For example, the textbook that we have, it talks about food and nutrition. Many resources are involved in getting the food you need. So we bring them over here on planes, ships, truck drivers bring them from the other side of the country. We're going to get what we want. Money is an obvious one of resources. So since we're in the United States, we usually have a lot of money to be able to bring the food that we want over here. Whereas if we was in a third world country, we may not have that money to ship or fly over food that we actually want. Time and knowledge, abilities, equipment, and place to buy food are equally important. So here we have lots of stores. Where if we would go over to Belize, they don't have a lot of stores. They have vendors on the side of the street selling products. Or if we would go to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, they're going to be selling their products out on the beach where everybody is because that's where they can sell the most. So wherever they can make money, that's where they're going to go. The resources for us over here, we have the money, so we don't have to go over there to get it. We can just ship it here. One reason people make different food choices is that their resources are different. No one has an endless supply of resources, but everyone has some. You can often substitute a resource you have for another one that is in short supply. For instance, if you have time and skills, you can save money by cooking at home instead of going out. So environmental influences affect us as well of the food that we eat. Now, we're in a great state of North Carolina, so we have a lot of resources. A lot of farms are here. So we don't have to go too far to get the food from the farm. However, some countries or some states don't have that availability or the resources. That will be their E. coli factors, such as their climate issues or the land that's available. They might not have the good soil to grow something. They may not have the rainfall or the climate to grow something. The social factors include what is considered acceptable to the culture and what they live in. So here in this area, we may not be able to have a whole bunch of plants, chicken plants or something, because of what the city has put down as the laws. And we can grow a lot of crops on the farms. It just depends on where you are, what the state says, what the government says, of what you can and cannot grow. One of the resources that influence your food choices is the basic food supply. In other words, the choice you make depend on what you have chosen. Technology influences the food supply and therefore your choice. Imagine that you had to step back about 200 or 300 years ago. How would your food choices change? In the world of the past, almost everything you eat must be grown by your family or your neighbors. In warm weather, food are plentiful, but then you have a spoilage problem. In cold weather, the challenge is to make the food last longer. So, what would you do back in the day? Food processing includes additives that enhance the shelf life, nutritional value, and food quality. Food preparation includes the equipment such as the microwaves we got in the kitchen, the refrigerators, the stoves, the blenders, all those different technologies we have in the home now to help us prepare our foods. So hopefully you'll be able to understand all the external influences of why you eat the foods you eat. The media plays a part, your economic influence plays a part, the environment that you live in, and the technology that we have now. So if you're just wondering why you eat the foods that you eat, just think about the internal and the external influences. Some of the pictures I took off of this PowerPoint came from Facts PLC, and I took some things out the textbook.